Welcome in, everybody. Hello, detectives. It is Lady Isis, your favorite spiritual detective, and I am back with another late night live chat. Okay, so we're going to wait for a few people to come in and join us because we got a whole lot to investigate tonight. And I just wanted to talk with the collective in regards to um, my thoughts about a particular testimony in the Naziyah Harris unaliving and disappearance. If you're coming in, make sure you hit that like button, share the live, and always let me know what you think down in the comments. Okay, shout out to y'all. Shout out to the Bushwatchers. Shout out to the people, my silent supporters, my members, and always the mods. Whenever you guys come in and join, leave a comment so I know that you're here. And let me know where you're from. I want to hear from you. Okay. So come on in. We got a whole lot to investigate. Okay. Here, I love to decode the matrix and expose dark forces, dark occult societies, and hidden symbols because everything is symbolism, everything is numerology. Okay. We are in the matrix. So when it comes to these crimes and truly getting justice for, and particularly these crimes against children, it takes for us to speak the truth. It takes for us to recognize the symbols. It takes for us to decode what they think we don't know or see. Okay. The court of law does not, in my opinion, give us true divine justice. So that is what I do. I analyze, I investigate the investigations, and I talk about it with my chat. Hey, Miss Sexy Ray, welcome in. Okay. So everything I say is alleged. It's my opinion, my truth. But one thing about it, energy never lie. Energy does not lie. So there was a testimony in the Naziyah Harris case. As you can see by the thumbnail, which I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen for a minute. Did I save it or no? Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay. Wrong one. Well, anyway, there was a lady by the name of Valerie who supposedly found Naziyah's school ID. She said she had walked past the ID or stepped over the ID for about 2 weeks before she decided to flip it over and see who it belonged to so that she could return it to its owner. Now, because I believe that everybody is guilty until proven innocent, especially in this Naziyah Harris case, and I don't believe it's a coincidence that this happened. I do believe that this was an organized crime, and I don't believe anyone is innocent, even if they're an elderly lady with a mushroom wig and a suit jacket on, appearing to be innocent and a holy woman. So, with that being said, I went and I watched her testimony, which we're going to watch it too. It's only about 9-10 minutes or so. But there was something that I noticed, which I noticed it before, but I didn't really dive into it and we didn't really discuss it that much because there was so much going on at that time. But the hand symbolism. It's not ironic, it's not a coinky dink that she held up a specific hand gesture or whatever you want to call it. Okay. It's not ironic. And it definitely holds a meaning to it. Okay, so it could be a Masonic hand symbol or a Eastern Star, some occult, okay, hand symbol, symbolism. So thank you, Miss Sexy Ray. I see you in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so this here is Miss Valerie. Miss Valerie Louise Smith is what she said her name is. And some people may think that what she said was the truth. Some people may not. Y'all gonna let me know in the comments anyway. Just make sure you keep it cute and respectful, and we're good. Okay. But her testimony was not that long. And some people may feel like maybe it really wasn't that important or as important as the other testimonies where people actually seen Naziyah. But it's important to me, this testimony, because I question whether she really found the ID. I question whether she could have gotten the ID another way, being as though this, in my opinion, could have been an organized crime if I entertain my theory. Okay. And when I seen this hand symbol that we see here on the screen, it made me interested and wanted to go look and see what this could possibly mean. Okay. So let me pull up her testimony and then we can go from there. Because I just want us to be mindful. Like throughout this whole case with Naziyah, I've noticed a lot of number patterns, color patterns, and symbolism, specifically that red and yellow, which happen to be the color of the shop, the color of the gate in the area when Naziyah got off her school bus, where she was last seen on January 9, 2024. The color red and yellow have came up a lot in this Naziyah Harris tragedy. And it could possibly have been a ritualistic sacrifice. Okay. I hope that you're not getting, Miss Sexy Ray, let me know if you're getting pushed out and back in. Okay. If this may be a little too deep for some people, that's fine. Those who get it, get it. Okay. I'm not one of them people that just believe everything that I see on the news and take it as face value, because it's always deeper than that to me. Okay. But let me pull up this real quick. And we're going to go from there, y'all. It's already attached to this article, which is good because I could just pull it up right here.
We're Michigan's most experienced personal injury law firm. Our lawyers have over 600
Thank you for posting them links. Y'all can catch me on all social media platforms. The links will be in the description. But Miss Sexy.
And Ms. Smith, I want to call your attention back to March 7th of 2024. At that time, in what area did you live?
Valerie.
Excuse me, Valerie Louise Smith.
And Ms. Smith, I want to call your attention back to March 7th of 2024. At that time, in what area did you live?
That's where I live currently. I'm 7 Mile Evergreen area.
Okay, and is that near Evergreen and St. Martin's?
Yes.
Okay, is that in the city of Detroit, Wayne County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on March 7th, 2024, did you come into contact with the police?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the reason you came into contact with the Detroit Police Department?
I found a young lady's ID
And where did you find that ID?
directly across the street from my house.
And was it like a driver's license, school ID, or something else?
School ID could look like.
And when you found that, was that the first time you had seen it there?
No, I stepped over it for 2.5 weeks before I decided to pick it up.
Okay, and is there a reason after 2.5 weeks of noticing it there that you decided to
I
pick it up?
just decided to pick it up that day. I was going out shopping. I said, well, let me get it and send it back to whomever it belongs to.
Okay, and when you picked it up, did you read the name on that ID?
Yes.
And what was the name on the ID?
Zaniyah Harris.
And did that raise any concerns in your mind?
It sure did.
And what's the reason it raised concerns?
I just heard it on the news before it came out.
You heard her name?
Her name, yes.
And when you picked it up, did you have gloves on or anything like that?
No, no.
And you used your bare hand then?
I took my thumb and flipped it. And when I saw the name, I just put my hands on the outside of it.
And what was the reason?
Okay, so I want y'all to pay attention to the color she has on, the black and white, okay? The black and white with the cross earrings is significant, okay? Annette also wore, I think she had on dark blue, but on a news appearance when her and Shannon, and they were surrounded by the police officers and all of that, she had on black and white there too. Okay. So the black and white in this aspect in abuse ritualistic networks, it can symbolize declarations of being in an alignment with the system of control and inversion. Okay, so a lot of times with these dark occult societies and organized crimes, it's basically an inverted, distorted, exploitive version of the original occult symbolisms in alignment with divine alignment or natural law, right? They operate from power and control. And in court, it can be worn as a code to other initiates. Like it could send a signal stating that maybe I am under protection, or I play both sides, or, you know, basically like we're still here. I'm still loyal to what the plan is and I'm following the script. Okay. So I don't believe that any of the choices that they all chose to wear when it comes to colors and clothing and things like that was a coincidence. I think it was very strategic and very symbolic. Now, at this part of the testimony, she's also stating that she flipped Naziyah school ID over because it was face down. And then she grabbed it with her hands like this. I don't even know if y'all can see me. It booted me out on my phone too. Anybody in the chat getting booted out, like the live it's like exiting you out the live? It's like exiting you out the live. I don't know. Anyway, we're just gonna keep going. So let me rewind it just a little bit.
The reason you just put your hands on the
I didn't want any. I flipped it, and when I saw the name, I just put my hands on the outside of it.
And what was the reason you just put your hands on the outside?
I didn't want any disturb any of the prints that were on there.
So when she said I didn't want to disturb any of the prints that was on there, to me that sounded like she was looking for confirmation, or it was like she was getting confirmation from the person that was questioning her, the prosecutor that was questioning her. Like for me, I'm listening to not just what she's saying, how she's saying it, her gestures, her body language. Okay. And obviously what's being asked of her.
And when you picked it up, did you place it in anything?
Like, why would she assume that it was prints on there? Or I need to flip it over. You walked over it for 2 weeks. It was face down. Most school IDs either look like this or like this. I'm gonna show y'all because my kids have school IDs. Naziyah's is straight up and down, okay, like this. Hers was straight up and down. But you know, sometimes school IDs, kids' school IDs be sideways like this, and it be blank on the back sometimes. And sometimes it has like a suicide prevention on the back or something like that. But it looks absolutely nothing like a regular ID or license. Now, she did say that she thought it was a school ID and she wanted to return it. But if it's face down, there's no way for you to just assume that it was a school ID. The only way you would have known that is if you had picked it up already and determined that it was a school ID. The back of a regular ID still looks like this. It still looks like a, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it still looks like a regular state ID. Okay. So I'm paying attention to basically if it makes sense to me. Okay. Just go through with it with me and my thoughts. Okay. Because it makes sense to me what I'm picking up on. And I want to be able to explain to y'all the best way I can to where y'all can kind of see my point of view. And if you don't, that's fine too. Okay. I want to know why didn't they ask, why did you feel like you didn't want to disturb the prince? Was it something on the ID that led you to believe that you needed to preserve the prince? Because when we look at the ID, it does look like it's blood on the ID here. Right? It looks like it's blood right there in the middle, where on Naziyah's face. But again, some about that just ain't, it's not adding up to me. Anyway. And I wonder why she got on the bus line to go to the gas station. Could it have been that she needed to make sure that she was seen with the ID, and she talked to the bus driver about the ID, and she talked to the people at the gas station about the ID too, just to make sure that, you know, she had a witness of what she can't testify to. But why didn't she call the police with her phone? Why did she have to go to the gas station? Even if y'all say, okay, she's an older lady. Okay, older ladies have phones. Older people have phones. Why did you get on a bus instead of, hey, let me call the police right now because this is a missing girl's ID. I noticed the name. Matter of fact, don't even pick it up. Let me leave it down on the ground. She already messed up. She said she used her thumb to flip over something. Even if that were the case and it was face down, you're not just going to grab it with your hand. You're going to grab something to flip it over. Why flip it over with your thumb? Okay, so to me, she kind of already, your prints is already on it either way. She said she didn't want to put any more prints on it. That's why she grabbed it like this, like the size of the ID. But I wonder why didn't she call, and I wonder why didn't the prosecutor ask her why didn't she use her phone to call, so we can know, did you have a phone or not, and why still get on the bus line with this ID? Hold on, let me take the let me put the put the damn video back up there. I didn't took the video down. Okay, we go.
Where I found the ID at.
And did you show them that?
Yes,
And did you give them the ID as well?
yes. I gave it to them when they initially pulled up.
Right, because they you got to the gas station, they want to go back to where you found it. Like, why did you leave? And why are they able to even use this in court after she touched it? Like, you know, but let me finish watching.
May I approach, Judge? I'm approaching with People's Proposed Exhibit 40. Ms. Smith, do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
And is that the ID that you found?
Yes, sir.
I move to admit People's Proposed 40.
No objection. It'll be a minute.
And permission to publish on the screen.
Yes.
And Ms. Smith, I don't know if you can see the screen from where you are. That's the picture I just showed you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And is that the cup or the top of the
That's the lid. I
the
said
lid that you
yes,
put it
sir.
in? Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
And on the bottom left, it says grade 8, correct?
Yes.
I have nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Briefly. Good afternoon, Ms. Smith.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. You said that you picked up the ID, was it March the 6th? Or I'm sorry, the 7th? Yes. And you said you had been stepping over it for approximately 2 weeks?
2.5 weeks I stepped over.
Okay, so that puts you in February
When I initially saw
when
it.
you initially
Yes.
saw it. Okay. And you said you had been stepping over it?
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that it was actually on the sidewalk,
No, it was in the grass.
in the grass?
Face down.
The grass next to the street?
Yes.
So there's like an usually kind of like an easement between like the street and the sidewalk,
Yes.
and there's like a patch of grass there.
Yes.
And is that right in front of the bus stop, or
No, it was a little ways off from the bus stop.
okay, from the bus stop, between the bus stop and what other landmark would you say?
Nothing else is there.
Nothing else
Okay, so she's saying it was.
there.
No.
How far to the
Hold
corner,
up.
or
No, it was a little.
grass next to the street?
Uh,
Puts you in February
when I initially saw
when
it.
you initially
Yes.
saw it. Okay. And you said you had been stepping over it.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that it was actually on the sidewalk,
No, it was in the grass.
in the grass?
Face down.
The grass next to the street.
Yes.
So there's like an usually kind of like an easement between like the street and the sidewalk.
Yes.
And there's
March 7th. March 7th, right? And she's saying she didn't touch the ID until March 7th, but she had walked over it for nearly 3 weeks. That's smack dead in the middle of winter. I think that I did initially think that it was in the grass because she said grass. It didn't dawn on me that that's smack dead in the middle of the winter. It's snow outside. Even if we Google it, right? It's usually snow. It's cold outside. You walking over an ID for nearly 3 weeks in the middle of the winter. Who gives a damn about a face down, maybe ID card that ain't got nothing to do with like it literally could have been anything. It could have been a Chuck E. Cheese got cards where that looks like it could be an ID. It's a bunch of cards that looks like it could be an ID face down. You get what I'm saying? It could be from literally anywhere. Stores have cards everywhere, okay? But an ID. An ID turned over, you can't deny that it's an ID because they all usually have barcodes on the back of them. So that's an ID, a state ID. First off, smack dead in the middle of the winter don't make sense to me either.
and there's like a patch of grass there.
Yes.
And is that right in front of the bus stop or?
No, it was a little ways.
And
off
I'm
from-
wondering, why didn't they ask that? Like, was it snow outside? Like, why the questions are not detailed enough? Like, are they not supposed to be extremely detailed at the pretrial hearing? I mean, what difference do it make? Like, we need to know. I want to know. Shit.
Okay, from the bus stop, between the bus stop and what other landmark would you say?
Nothing else is there.
Nothing else there.
No.
How far to the corner of the block?
From St. Martin's. It's not that far.
Okay, so a few
Two
steps.
steps, yes.
Okay,
Two steps.
perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
So a few steps from, she's saying a few steps from the corner, but she says she stayed like diagonal to the bus stop. If she say cattle corner to the bus stop, she wouldn't have walked over the ID if it's coming. If she's walking from the way that she pointed to in the picture, she wouldn't have walked over the ID. She wouldn't have walked over it. Let me pull up 7 Mile and Evergreen. On Google Maps, because I'm finna look at this again. As soon as we get to that part, I'm gonna pull up the Google map.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Can we redirect?
Yes, briefly.
Hey, Talina in the chat. She say, "Hey, Lady Isis." Let me pull up your comment. Hold on. Didn't boot me out. Hey, Lady Isis, moderators in chat. I was hoping you'd be on tonight. Yes, I was like, let me get on here and talk about this because I've been wanting to talk about this, and I think it's important. So, yeah, here I am. So I was hoping you say Cash done irked my nerves so bad with her latest post. I've seen the latest post and honestly it irritated me too. So I'm like, and then she said that she got a YouTube channel now, and I seen that she posted about 3 videos there. I feel like she playing in our face, and you know, we'll talk about that. You say, and maybe it is part of the dark magic or their dark magic. None of this makes sense, but I strongly believe they do dark magic. I do too. You say, I just saw your title. We aren't thinking the same for no reason. Right. Okay. So I can't be the only one. And even if I am, I'm still gonna speak what I feel, you know. But yes.
Ms. Smith, just a couple of questions for you. Miss Quick asked you a couple of questions about specifically where you found it. You said it was in a patch of grass next to the sidewalk?
Yes,
Okay. And you said you had been stepping over it for about 2.5 weeks before you gave it to the police department.
before I decided to pick it up. Yes, sir.
The 2.5 weeks that you've been stepping over it at the beginning of that, is that the first time you noticed it?
Yes, sir.
And it could have been there before those 2.5 weeks, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't think it's a yes or no question, but I don't think that.
How she knows how long it's been there. She can only
Can you
testify.
stand up to the corporation?
Yes, Your Honor. My objection is how can she testify to how long it could have been there prior? She can only testify to what she knows. She testified that she knows it's been there for 2.5 weeks.
Did you see it being placed there on the grass?
I'm sorry.
Did you see it being
No,
placed
ma'am.
on the grass? Okay.
No, ma'am.
So I want to sustain objection because she put it on, but she didn't see it drop.
Okay. So the first time you noticed it was 2.5 weeks prior to March 7th.
Yes, sir.
You know, and looking at her, she does look like a lady that goes to church and she bake cookies on Sundays and every Wednesday, and she could be one of the mothers at the church. She do give that vibe. So initially, you wouldn't even think that what she's saying could be false or, you know, made up or anything like that, because she doesn't appear to be questionable.
Okay. To the police officers, did you look at a photo, a Google Street View of your location?
Yes, sir.
And did you indicate on that photo where you found it?
Exactly. Yes. They took me, they took me back to my house so I could show them exactly where I found it.
May I approach, Judge?
Yes.
I'm approaching with what's going to be marked as People's Proposed 62.
And see, there's the hand gesture. Every time they question her, well, obviously they're going to question her, but like every time the question begins, she puts the hand gesture up, okay? And it's exactly like this, okay? If I can I show y'all? Can y'all see that? All right. It's exactly like this, okay?
Do you recognize that, ma'am?
Yes.
That's not a normal position for hands. Like even if you're trying to you know, make sure that even if you're nervous and you just want to, you know, hold your hands together like this, or you know, clutch your hands in some type of way just to make sure that you're focused on the questions and you're focused on the answers. That's more like a signal, a symbol to someone or something. It's a strange position.
You found it this time. Submit People's Proposed 62.
No objection. Will it be admitted?
And permission to publish since I don't have a hard copy.
Yes.
And she's purposely keeping it that way. You can see her kind of adjust her hands. Let me see, because it's dark on the screen. It's not my screen. It's the video is literally dark.
And on the screen, is that the photo I just showed you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and there's a circle with a line going up from the bottom of the screen there. Is that circle where you indicated you found it?
Yes, sir.
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
I have just a couple questions based on this picture. Ms. Smith, so as we look at the picture here, in which direction, left or right, is the bus stop?
To the right.
To the right, so closer to the church? Is that or that white building that's in
No, no, that's a person's house right there.
Okay,
It was like, okay, I come out of my driveway and it's like catty corner to the bus stop from my driveway.
well, the sign is where the bus stop is, right?
Yes, right there.
Okay, and so, okay, that's all I have, thank you.
What? Why is it doing that? We don't know. We don't know if it's coming from, if her house was coming from. It seems like it was coming more so from, if we're on the side of the bus stop facing 7 Mile, I mean Evergreen, because it's right there at Evergreen. It's right on Evergreen. We're at the bus stop facing Evergreen. It seems like her house would have been to the right, but we don't know if it was actually to the left. Okay, but they didn't clarify that. I just assumed that it was coming, that she was walking from the right. However, wherever way she's walking from, it still don't make sense to me. And then when I seen her hand gestures that she was holding up deliberately in the courtroom, that was not ironic. It was on purpose.
Nothing further.
So I want to point out another thing, because we won't be long tonight. Make sure I'm not missing no comments either. Okay. Okay, you just Miss X-Ray. Okay, I see you. You say so true. Mm-hmm. Pull up this picture right here. All right. So in direct relation to child trafficking and organized crime, the black color, which she got on black, Annette have on black in her appearance, or dark colors, okay? And particularly black, or like that dark blue that Annette had on. And I believe Shannon had on a black too. The fact that Naziyah had on a black sweater over the white turtleneck is significant to me too, and symbolic. in the last picture that they said she took at school. Okay. But the color black is often used symbolically and operationally. So, in other words, it frequently carries. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to do too much at one time. Okay. So while in many cases, it could frequently mean that it carries a coded connotation, ritualistic abuse, and occult-based systems and trafficking networks. If we're going to think of this in an organized crime way, then we have to not attach any feelings or personal thoughts to it possibly not being that. Like, oh no, it's not that. It's just what they want us to believe. Okay, that's the purpose of an organized crime or organized trafficking network, is that they can hide in plain sight. They can organize it from the beginning to the end, literally, from reports, from police calls, from disappearances, from courtroom testimonies, to the questions they ask, to how they ask the questions, to the judge, to the defense, to all of that. Okay. All of it could be working in cahoots with each other, but they want the appearance that they are against each other. The prosecutors and the defense, the judge. Okay. They want to appear like they are not in cahoots. Now, I'm not specifically saying that the judge in this case is or ain't, but we do know that they take an oath to this organized or this organization that they work for. They take an oath at the end of the day. And what the judge said, it was definitely heartfelt and what a lot of people would feel about a case like this. Everything that she said. But does that mean that she doesn't have an oath to a corrupt system? Absolutely not. Hey, Jessica. Okay. So here's a breakdown of how black may be used or interpreted symbolically. Secrecy and concealment. So the operations are hidden in darkness. Black could symbolize cloaking. It could symbolize like a black room, black bags, black attire. Okay. Power and control through fear. Victims are often subjected to darkness, literally or psychologically, to induce trauma, fear, and disassociation. Okay. Remember, this is an organized crime exploiting children and trafficking children, possibly or allegedly, we're going to say. Okay. And these systems are built on trauma and exploitation and fear. So it's not ironic that Naziyah had such a traumatized childhood. Her parents were not in her life. Her family didn't love her. And this type of organized crime, she would be the exact child that they could exploit and that they could, traffic in a way. Or whatever the fuck they did to this baby. Or use her as a ritual and a sacrifice. Okay, so death and soullessness. Black may symbolize the death of an innocent spirit or identity. Satanic or Luciferian inversion. It's important that y'all get that inversion, okay? Because even Satan and Luciferianism is not all bad if you know the occultism behind it and how it's been distorted and now it's inverted and we are in this system, okay, of inversions. So in the systems that reverse sacred symbols, black is used to pervert and mock purity. White, okay? White is symbolic, especially when children are involved. Operational use in ritual abuse and human trafficking. Black clothing and robes, okay? Remember, the judge wear black robes, okay? She got on black. Annette had on black. Naziyah had on black in her photo. Often worn during rituals or symbolizing membership in a cult, secrecy, or connection to the shadow realm. That is the distorted shadow realm. Black rooms or vans used to transport victims without visibility or light, symbolic of being swallowed by darkness. Black coded items, dowels, candles, feathers, masks used in the symbolic programming of victims, especially with MK Ultra. Trauma-based mind control. Okay, psychological manipulation with the color black. The use of black is psychologically strategic. Trauma anchoring. So black is used during abuse sessions to condition a child to associate darkness with pain, fear, or the evil part of themselves. Split identity programming and mind control programming. A victim may be giving a black alter, a personality fragment associated with violence, rage, or submission. Sensory deprivation. Darkness is often used to heighten trauma during isolation and punishment. Okay. In symbol systems and trafficking codes, black can mean untraceable, off grid, no record. It could also mean blacklisted, the victim. Okay, so blacklisted victims may be those who are owned, disposable, or too traumatized to be believed. Some internal trafficking symbols use black dots or black hand symbols to refer to child abuse victims, though usage varies across networks. The esoteric inversion of the color black in ancient systems. You know what? I should share this with y'all. Are y'all good with me just reading what I researched pretty much? Y'all good with me just reading it? Did I save that photo? Hold on a second. No, my damn computer. Stop sharing that. I want to pull up another photo real quick. Break down the symbolism of this hand gesture she's holding on, and how it's connected to a Masonic hand symbol. My phone moving too slow. I meant to say this picture. I mean, not my phone, my laptop. Sonic. Index finger and thumb. Yeah, we're gonna get to the latest video. And then depending on what else she posts from this point forward, the girl who supposedly had a met with Shannon and Marquita, it would determine if I continue to even entertain that any longer. Because how you trying to tell a story or your experience with these people and then get mad for people having questions? I don't get that. How you mad somebody questioning what you claiming? Like, you was better off just not saying anything if you didn't want to answer no questions. But now that she's made a YouTube channel, I feel like now she's going to try to build this YouTube channel. And now she claiming she ain't doing it for clout, but that's what it's giving. You ain't had no YouTube channel prior to this, but you gonna start a YouTube channel in the name of Naziyah. Okay. Dang, come on now. Okay, well, esoteric inversion of color black. In ancient systems, black originally symbolized the womb, mystery, potential, and divine feminine power. Okay, all said Isis or the Black Madonna. However, in corrupted systems and corrupted networks, this sacred meaning is inverted to justify sacrificial rites, especially involving children, as a perverse offering to the dark gods. Okay. And to mock the divine feminine by harming the most innocent, which will be the children. Okay, so these folks know exactly what they're doing. They all playing a role, far as I'm concerned. Okay, and they playing in our faces, and we will be some fools to believe that they're not, and that they didn't organize this crime, and that there are not other children that they have indeed sacrificed as well. Now, what I do believe and what I've picked up on spiritually, right, as I sit with this case and channel, okay, I believe that in Naziyah's family, Annette and Shannon had to sacrifice Naziyah, because a lot of times the third generation has to give a sacrifice. Okay, the third generation would have been Naziyah. She's the one they didn't care about. She's the one they're jealous of. She's the one that they knew was being sexually assaulted and abused, and they did nothing. In fact, they offered her up. They made it to where Jarvis had easy access to her at all times, and that he was able to groom her exactly in the way that they planned on and that they knew he was doing. Okay. So when we ask questions like, well, if you knew that Jarvis was a pedo and he was into children and blah, 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 to them it's like, duh, we knew, but we got to act like we didn't know. That's what it be given with them. Like, they got to act like they didn't know, or that it's in, and we know that they're lying, right? We know that they're lying and that they knew, because when a prosecutor asked Annette, has Jarvis been in your house? She lied and said no. Okay, he'd be outside, whatever. That tells us that she knew. They knew everything that was going on. But it is an organization that exploits sacrifice and do rituals with with children. Shit. So, good morning, Shantastic Bookie. Hey. So they all was involved. They all was involved. Okay. what Black represents in trafficking and ritual abuse. Okay, this is the summary. Black clothing and robes, ritual initiation, secrecy, and inverted power. This lady that we looking at on this screen that looks like she's just somebody's grandma that baked cookies on Sunday is a high rank in this inverted organization. Okay. She's not there for happenstance, and it's not a coincidence that she was the one that so-called found the ID. And I do not believe that she found this ID. I believe she was given a script, and I believe that she had to have a witness that she had found this ID. Otherwise, she would have called the police right there on the spot. I found this when she flipped it over and realized that it was Naziyah on that ID. She would have called the police or went back home right then and there. But instead, she got on a bus, proceeded to go to the gas station so that what? She can have an alibi or she can have witnesses. She was told what to do. And keep in mind, this smack dead in the middle of the winter time as well. It's a possibility that there was snow. She keeps saying grass. It could be in the grass area, but we don't know if it was snow outside or not because they didn't ask. So that's when discernment comes in, and that's where curiosity comes in and questioning. She said she like when I'm in my ritualistic bag. You know what? Because a ritual exposing bag, because it's always deeper than what they want us to believe and see. Y'all have to understand that media is controlled. Everything that they push out in media is controlled. The people that in content and news that they suppress is that of truth and that type of information that will expose their operation. Social engineering, absolutely. So how else we keep asking, where's Naziyah? Where's Naziyah? How else we gonna know where Naziyah is at if we're not questioning everything about this case? How are we going to bust a case wide open if we're not questioning all of the symbolisms that we see? Because most people don't perceive it as anything. They just look at it and then they don't see it. They don't question it. They don't think nothing of it. They just think, oh, that's just how she's sitting. No, she's sending a message to her other motherfucking organization crew, letting them know, I got this. I'm still with y'all. I'm loyal to the organization. That's what she's saying. I'm doing my part. Why we can't find this lady on the internet? Why we can't find this lady address? Background, nothing. Like, where did this lady, who are you? Do you even really stay across the street from the bus stop? And who letting their grandma outside without no phone to call the police in Detroit? So again, darkness during abuse, trauma imprinting, dissociation, control, Black coded items, programming symbols, okay? Black and trafficking codes, untraceable victims. We have an untraceable victim here. Naziyah Harris is an untraceable victim. And I was feeling like, and I've said this several times, we're never going to find Naziyah. They're never going to let us know that they found Naziyah because they know exactly what Naziyah is. It's a hidden network. And motherfuckers is getting paid. Motherfuckers is getting initiated. Motherfuckers is getting higher ranked in this organization. Don't be the fool. They have to sacrifice children and do diabolical shit to children in order to gain rank. They have to prove their loyalty. They have to do some diabolical shit in these inverted organizations. Say exactly. They don't expect us to question, and they throw in distractions on purpose, which will explain why this girl is claiming all of a sudden that she met up with Shannon and them and blah blah blah, and distraction. Say one word, adrenochrome, chrome, child. Okay. So, Black authors in mind control, disassociated parts program for submission and violence. Okay. Even if Shannon and them wanted to save Naziyah, they couldn't. It was time to pay the piper. It was time for them to pay up. These people be in organizations and having deals with the devil. Okay. Having deals with principalities, entities. And Naziyah's family is attached to an entity. They have to make sacrifices. That's the deal. Annette is abusive as hell. She have to be abusive. She have to traumatize these kids. Allowing kids to go with a known pedo, groom, to watch them groom children, have the other children watch while he sexually SAing Naziyah, all on purpose, all for grooming purposes, all for sacrificial purposes. So what does black and white worn together symbolize in the ritualistic child exploitation operations? Okay, in ritualistic child exploitation operations, the use of black and white worn together is symbolic, and it's not just aesthetic. Okay, it carries deep esoteric and psychological meaning that serves both ritualistic and control-based purposes within the organized abuse systems. Black and white together equals duality, control, and inversion. Black and white represents opposing forces. When worn together, especially during abuse rituals, the message is not about balance. It's about duality and disassociation. Okay? Black and white together symbolize a splitting. And the key goal in trauma-based mind control is splitting. The victims, especially children, are made to dissociate from reality and form alters. In other words, alternate personalities. So they be in an identity crisis. Right, right. Say exactly, black and white in Masonic temples. It is not the Eastern Stars, the female version of Freemasonry. Are they not? Kenya had on the Eastern Star hat. We could pull that up too. And then how long we been on live? About an hour. There's a video on YouTube that I found, and I'm gonna just play a little bit of it. And y'all can go head over there and binge watch a lot of this lady's content, because she have people telling their stories about being in sororities, fraternities, and secret societies, and the things that they do. Okay, everything is symbolic. Everything. Don't ever for a second think that it's not. And how she was born into a her grandfather was a Freemason. Well, technically he was in a Prince Hall, because for the black man version it's Prince Hall. And she says she was born into it. She was born into this secret society, and she tells her story. I don't know, I might watch the whole thing with y'all, I might not. But let me upload this picture here so I can show y'all this. You say Eastern Star wear white. But it's also been said that Eastern Stars is the female version of Freemasons. And I was trying to pull up this picture. It's just gonna take me a minute, because when I'm streaming, my computer moves extremely slow. But I get it. Until then, I'm gonna keep dropping these gems, because yeah. The psychological message is there is no safety. Wait, did I script something? Okay, so the abuser plays both roles, protector and predator, kind and cruel, light and dark, confusing the child's mind. Okay, the colors condition the child to expect contradiction and lose stable sense of self. Psychological message to the child: there is no safety, light and dark, good and evil. You are powerless. So in Monarch programming and MK Ultra tactics, the black and white motif is programming symbolism used in trauma-based mind control, often seen in the Masonic checkerboard floor, which is heavily referenced to abuse survivor testimony. It also represents the child being initiated into a world of moral inversion where up is down and pain equals love. Keep in mind, she got on black and white. Oh, I'm gonna show y'all a couple of pictures. Okay. Say that one. Okay. So here's this picture of Annette at the press conference, I believe, when she was up there with Shannon, fake crying and shit. Right, you see that black and white here. And then in the background, I just looked at my live timer. It says 111, 111. In the background during this press conference, I thought that it was a ringing sound, okay? I thought that it was a ringing sound in the background when Annette started talking. But actually, when Annette started talking, the sound of Elvis Presley song, that bad, it was that playing, and it rung 3 times. It was the melody to that song, and it rung 3 times. So that's 333. Okay. Now I don't know if y'all remember what I'm talking about, but if y'all want me to play this part where she was speaking, I can play it real quick, and then we can get back to the symbolism of and the black and white and the occult meaning behind what's going on with the Naziyah Harris case. You say they play on a child's mind, which causes cognitive dissonance. Absolutely. Absolutely. And to me, her wearing black and white at this time, when they say they pretty much had to drag her by her dry ass wig to come and even speak on behalf of Naziyah, and she chose to wear black and white stripes and then couldn't push out no tears. Couldn't push out no tears if her life depended on it at that moment. She couldn't do it. Or her or Shannon, because they know what the fuck going on. You say they wear white to throw us off. They want to look pure and docile. Exactly. They want to look innocent and, churchy and holy. Mm-hmm. We see you. We see you. And so when that song, what's that Elvis Presley song called, y'all? Let me look. Because I could just hear the melody. I know it's probably called Bad or something. Y'all know he was a pedo himself. It's called I Feel So Bad. I Feel So Bad. That's the name of it. I was like, When I listened real close to the sound, that it was the melody to that song. A matter of fact, I think it might have said bad. It kept saying it, bad, something like that. Either it said it or it wrong. It might have just been the melody, because I kept thinking like, what is that? Okay, but the lyrics, arm itching. You say, Isis, she says, good, it's diabolical. Diabolical. Yeah. Good rising, grand rising. You say he sure was right, which is not ironic, right, Shantastic? It's not ironic that wrong, while Annette is so-called trying to show some type of emotions about her missing granddaughter. No, she got on there to say it's done. The message she sent is it's done. Okay. They ain't got out and said nothing, showed no remorse, and claiming they ain't gonna have no memorial till they get a death certificate is bullshit. Y'all, they know where Naziyah at, so they ain't gonna get the death certificate. They ain't gonna get it. They don't want to celebrate her because they wanted to sacrifice her to gain whatever the fuck they gain from this. That's all they did it for. They don't care about nothing else but themselves. They are dedicated and loyal to this secret society that they are a part of. And as you can see here on Kenya hat, okay, I don't think she's going to wear that just because. I don't think anybody that's not a part of that organization, that sorority, that fraternity, that group is going to wear anything attached to that if they're not a part of it or haven't. Because what would be the point? Out of all the hats you could choose to wear, you chose to wear that one while y'all talking about Naziyah and y'all making fun and arguing back and forth, talking about dumb shit. And no, because it was all entertainment. It was about entertaining the people, keeping them distracted and keeping them away from asking and questioning about what they actually seeing with their two eyes. Hidden in plain sight. They communicate with each other right in plain sight, and most people just miss it or dismiss it. Most people dismiss it as happenstance or coincidence. There are no coincidences in the Matrix. Everything is strategic, planned, symbolic, calculated, numerical. Okay. And as you can see here at number 9, that's the hand gesture that lady was holding up, Valerie Smith, right there at the number 9. I know it's not that easy to see, but it's, if you count over from left to right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6, and then right up under that, you got that hand gesture that she was holding up. Okay, that is a Masonic hand symbol. So this could have been a Freemasonry organized crime. Okay. You can even see on the picture, it says 29 Masonic ideas, Masonic ritual, and Freemasonry hand signs. And you say Elvis has, you say you've been to his Graceland and he has so much symbolism in his house because they know what's up. That black and white, y'all can see black and white in videos, music videos. You see a lot of black and white, and even with like gamers, streamers, and things like that, it's inverted. It's inverted. It's to cause distraction, chaos. You know, it's all inverted. They take black and white, do the duality of in the natural sense of it, and distort it and make it an inverted thing. Because they're not connected to source. They're not connected to real power. So they have to steal power. So they have to exploit children and steal the purest form of power, which will be through children exploitation. Unaliving them. Blood sacrifices. Drinking of the blood, literally. And offering them up to these dark force deities that they worship in order to gain power and control, mind control. See, that's the same time right there. Her hand's just not as long, but the same thing. Okay. So a few more things with the symbolism of black and white together in an inverted way, and the occultism behind it. The occult inversion Okay, wait, I want to say another thing. A tool of fragmentation. So, MK Ultra tactics and Monarch programming with the black and white motif programming symbolism. Okay, it's also a tool of fragmentation, forcing the mind to choose between two extreme poles over and over until it shatters. Okay, so occultism inversion of sacred law. In sacred traditions, black is mystery, dark divine feminine, creation, primordial frequency, right? Light and consciousness can represent divine union. In satanic and Luciferian rituals, these meanings are twisted. So black may represent domination, death, binding. Okay. White is worn to mock innocence, purity, and virginity, especially children related. When abusers wear both, they are mocking cosmic law. So you will be held accountable in that, because I see you for what you are and who you are. She will be held accountable for what the fuck they're doing. All of all of these fucking wicked ass systems and operations that are abusing and exploiting children, traumatizing children, sacrificing children, abusing, grooming. It's sick. White is worn to mock innocence, purity, and virginity, especially in children. So when they're wearing both, they're mocking cosmic law, presenting themselves as both God and devil to the child. Signaling ranks and roles in rituals. So some perpetrators wear black and white to signal ritual hierarchies and handler roles. This is important. White gloves, black robes, or black and white masks. Checkerboard patterns, floors, clothes. It may indicate the dual role, the groomer punisher dynamic, the savior abuser dynamic, narcissism empath dynamic, just abuse, okay? Runner chaser dynamic, trauma, abuse. Masonic and occult archetypes. Black and white checkerboard floors are heavily used in free Masonic temples, and they often show up in abuse survivor testimonies. Now, there was also in that same interview where I just showed a picture of Annette, where there was a man that was wearing a get the exact hat, a fez. I think it's called a fez hat, right? I think it was all black, and he had a black tassel hanging from the fez hat. He could be a Mason as well. Because I'm thinking, like, what they had him speak for? Who is he? What is he speaking for? But I've read that it was a Masonic Knight Templar black fez hat. Okay. I believe I got a picture with him on it too. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So Masonic and occult archetypes, they represent the floor of duality. The idea that all rituals are performed within the realm of light and dark, seen and unseen. As above, so below. The dark occult practices, this symbolism is hijacked to spiritually bind victims to the system. Sacrifice. They agreed to continue with this principality that they have made a covenant with. They're going to do it again. They've done it before. They've been doing it for generations, and they're going to continue to do it. So in a spiritual crime perspective, okay, Black and white worn together is ritualistic child abuse and cosmic violation. So it's violating the innocence, balance of divine masculine and feminine, sacred laws of harmony and order. It becomes a tool of soul binding while the child is imprinted with the belief that evil is good and there's no way out of the system. In this case, they've binded by choice and left the child no choice. Let's see if I put that man with that hat on. Yeah, I did. Okay. I do need to edit it though. Like he coming up here, and you would think that it could possibly represent like Moorish, like a Moorish fez with the tassel hanging from it. But who the hell knows? And I think it's time these corrupt systems get karmic justice. Justice need to be served. They've been getting away with this shit for too fucking long. All in the name of the court of law and calling it justice. But it's a corrupt system. It's a distorted system. There's no true justice in a distorted, corrupted organization, system, institution. There's no justice. Not truly. Till we call it out and we talk about it. And we hold their ass accountable. Because they think we too stupid and scared to talk about this shit. And that's what's happening. The illusions is falling. And these dark, wicked forces is being exposed. Where are the children? Is what my question is. Where are the children? Where's Naziyah? Getting a conviction is not the end for me. That does not answer the question. Where is Naziyah? Where is the children? Where are their bodies going? Who is harboring these children? Who is stealing these children and sacrificing them and doing what they're doing? Where are the kids? They think we're supposed to just be satisfied with Jarvis going to prison for the rest of his life. No, I'm not going to still be satisfied with that, because at the end of the day, how does this even happen? Who is helping in this organized crime? So you see him here with the black fez, and the tassel is on the side, but you can kind of see it. But he had it on. And that stood out to me. It was significant to me when I seen it. I'm like, what? Who is that? And he's speaking on behalf of the neighborhood, quote unquote. And I do feel like she could have been with other children. Other children. That's what I was picking up on. I was picking up on that for real, Miss Sexy Ray. I'm like, she was with other kids. She was with other kids more than it was several, a group. You're still getting kicked out. She said third time getting kicked out the chat, off the video. You say, I think he mysteriously passed away. You talking about Elvis? Elvis mysteriously passed away. No coincidence. They be knowing that they gotta pay the piper. They be knowing they gotta go. All right. So the psychological warfare on our children is very serious. The manipulation, the exploitation, the abuse, the dark grooming, the kidnapping, the abuse. Handler uniform. I always wonder why the police got to look like how they look. Why they all dressed in black? Why do they have to dress in black or dark blue? We thinking that they just color coordinate, and depending on which position you have in the police force, they wear different colors sometimes. But it's like, no, that's exactly what an organized crime or organized organization that operates in organized crimes. That's exactly what they would look like. Organized, uniform. So black and white together, duality, inversion, psychological splitting. Mocking purity, white, and domination, black. Abuse of innocence, Masonic, occult, checkerboards, ritual space, control, and hierarchy. Hierarchy, okay? Uniform, handlers, power, role signaling, control over victim perception. Psychological warfare, confused child moral compass and identity. Now we can take this same concept of what we breaking down here with just this hand symbol that we seen Valerie Smith holding up in court. But we could take this same information and apply it to the government, the work system, the school system, any type of system that we are subject to in order to survive in this 3D or survive in the matrix. The same things apply. Because we're all in prison, technically. You may be free mentally, right? You may be in your sovereign state of mind, but technically we all get rules that we have to follow according to these organizations, government, mind control operations. They take your power as soon as you're born with your birth certificate. Your mama and your daddy thinking it's something good because you got to survive out here. You got to go to school. You got to go to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. So they go ahead and sign your rights right over to the government. And you become a state of the government. So we are all in prison. And in a relationship with a narcissistic system that abuse and exploit people in general, that want to control people's minds. That's a spiritual crime because you don't want people in their sovereignty, so you have to control them. You don't want people to think for themselves, and if they do, the system, the matrix, retaliates and punish you for thinking for yourself and questioning this abusive ass system. They want to, punish you for asking questions like, where are the children? Y'all know exactly where the fuck the children going. want to suppress you, oppress you. Anytime we are oppressed and we're not free, it's a prison. It's slavery. So for me, this is so important. Say straw man social security number. Exactly. You're not even a human to this system. You're a straw man in the law of court, in their fucking justice system. You going to court as a straw man, not your sovereign self. System is corrupt and fucked up, and it's organized. Oh, you say no, John Todd, he was exposing MK Ultra. Somebody hiding the kids might be in somebody's basement. Or human trafficking. Yep. Miss. You say you believe everybody lying. Yes, ma'am, I do too. So the next thing will be, why the hand gesture? Why the black and white? Why the cross earrings? While testifying in court about a sexually assaulted missing child, what could potentially be the signal here? Esoterically, covert signaling, or spiritual masking. What else could we pick up from this hand symbol, specifically the triangle form that we see here? The triangle that's formed between the thumb and the index finger, and it's folding over, right? The other fingers are folding into each other. Okay. The hand gesture. So the triangle slash and or pyramid with thumb and index. This specifically is known as occult and Masonic symbol as sign of allegiance, secrecy, and spiritual authority, meaning triangle and pyramid equals power, illumination, control, and higher knowledge, right? Because again, they think that they know more than we do, and we don't have enough sense to question shit. So they have a higher knowledge than the average citizen, than the average person, because everybody else too busy surviving and trying to, get promotions in this system, that they're too busy and too depleted to question anything or focus on anything other than chasing money and getting promoted. But it represents power, illumination, and control. So power and what? Illuminated from what? Oh, illuminated from the average citizen. Illuminated from what the average person does and knows. Oh, so you get perks. You get perks for being in this occult. Oh, you get perks, huh? It also refers to the eye of providence, okay? Eye of providence gesture, especially if made in front of the body, which she kept it here specifically near her solar plexus chakra, okay? She kept it specifically near that area, okay? The thumb index triangle often mimics a symbol for the all-seeing eye. Remember, this is inverted. Okay? Our ancient ancestors are communicated by way of symbols, okay? Symbols and sound, vibration, frequency. So they have to invert and distort the original ancient symbolisms, right? And make it something that is foul, basically. So it mimics the symbol of the all-seeing eye and the capstone of the Masonic pyramid. So in context of court specifically, Valerie Smith on the screen with the hand gesture, she could be signaling allegiance to an occult fraternity, sorority, or handler, present or watching. So somebody was watching her. She had to give a signal stating that she's still loyal to her part and her role. It may act as a coverted oath reminder as well. I speak under orders, not truth. I speak under orders, not truth. Okay? So that means they will lie under oath. You're going to lie under oath. Ain't that some shit? What's his name said? Who said that? That rapper. Sierra Baby Daddy. Lying under oath. That would be her. Say you've been in the bushes for the longest. Glad to catch me live. I'm glad you're here, Jessica. All right. So the folded fingers signifies concealed truths. You said it was Wiz Khalifa. Child, was one of them. Shit. You say folded fingers, okay? Concealed truth. So the triangle is representing the all-seeing eye, okay? Higher knowledge, power, illumination, control. I'm still under loyalty to the organization, and I speak orders, not truth. The folded fingers conceal truth while only showing what they want you to see, right? Control perception. Literally hidden in plain sight. Literally. Question everything. Question the question. Investigate the investigations. This is why we call out. This is why this is a spiritual detective channel where we investigate the investigations, because it's always deeper than that. It's always deeper than that. Don't ever think it's never that deep, because it is. Black and white clothing, we've discussed this, okay? The combination of that, subtle code to other initiates, they're under protection and they play on both sides. Okay? Now her cross earrings that she got on, okay? It's definitely giving Saturnian worship, okay? But they do worship the Saturnian god. But on the surface, obviously, it would display a faith, a innocence, a religious righteousness about her, because that's what she give. The appearance of her. But symbolically, and especially when we pair with other elements of this photo, the cross can be used to mark evil under the guise of Christianity. But even Christianity is an inverted religion. An occult inversion is used to hide ritualistic abuse behind the veil of religion. The church religion operates exactly like a cult. They have ranks, they have initiations, they have things that you have to do in order to rank up, and sacrifices that you got to make. All right. Some Luciferians or dark Masons wear religious symbols to mock them and hide behind them, or to confuse, particularly participating in a covering up crimes, be it physical or spiritual, all in the name of God. So why in sexual assault or missing child cases, right? Why do these symbolisms in specifically this type of case? And she consistently held up this hand gesture, right? So she's either under oath to an esoteric or secret society. What's up, Angie Williams? You say she getting ready for work. She missed it. Oh, it's okay. I know y'all can catch the replay. Oh, you open at 6. Ooh. Yes, girl. Have a good day at work. Okay. So she's under oath. She's bound by fear. No, she's bound by secrecy or fear. In this case, it's really given secrecy, not necessarily fear. Okay. And then covertly signaling to handlers saying that she's still loyal and I'm following the script. The gestures is a silent affirmation to avoid retaliation as well to the hidden network. So that's it. We here, eye to eye. We're here. It can mean intimidation techniques or a dog whistler from the inside as well, because the system protects its own. It can also imply she's compliant, she's under control, she's signaling to others and masking behind faith. So she's part of a network program, coerced. That's important because I felt like her answers were coerced. I feel like most of their answers were, but we're going to focus on her. Because I said in the beginning of her testimony where she was talking about how she found it and, found the ID. And she basically like said to him, like, because I didn't want to disturb the prince. Because I didn't want to disturb the prince. That was what it was given. Like, because I didn't want to disturb the prince. As if she was looking for his confirmation. Like, yeah, right. Exactly. That's exactly what I told you to say. That's what it was given. So she could have definitely been coerced to say what she was saying. Okay. She could also be sending messages to the handlers, the judges, the lawyers, and connected individuals in the courtroom, the family of Naziyah, and anybody else. Okay. The cross earrings, because the cross earrings, an appearance used to deflect suspicion. Deflect suspicion. Thank you, not Miss Sexy, right? Thank you, Angie. I did it myself, girl. You know how I do. I'm gonna do my hair myself. Ain't nobody playing in my head. But thank you. All right. So as far as the spiritual crime, y'all, because I gotta talk about the spiritual crime because I want divine justice for these children. Something gotta shake, something gotta give. These systems need to go down. Ain't you tired of being a fucking slave to these systems? Ain't you tired of them taking our children and doing whatever they want to with our children and then the families be in on it? That's what's crazy. You can't even go to CPS and tell them what's going on because they just gonna take your information and do nothing with it or take it and say, this is the perfect child. We need to go sacrifice that child. You can't even trust CPS. You can't trust the police departments. You can't trust the school system, the feds, the government. You can't trust none of they ass because they in cahoots. She had to say what they told her to say and nothing more, nothing less. This your script and you stick to it, Valerie. So I used to walk past the Masonic Temple in Philadelphia every day on my way to work, and that place is low-key terrifying. It was a whole city block and armed guards, and they're everywhere. These Masonic temples are everywhere. The problem, they probably threatened her and told her don't say too much. Right? She looked nervous to you. Okay, so the spiritual crime here playing out in the legal, I'm gonna call it a legal theater, okay, because it's a show. Remember, within Matrix, and this is a show. You ever seen the Truman movie? It's definitely given the Truman Show, okay? This is a show, and we're witnessing it. Dark spiritual contracts being upheld in public. Mock trials where truth is cloaked in performance, in testimony. The woman in the video, in the picture that we see, she's a vessel. She's either a handler, a puppet, or a loyal initiate. Either way it go, like you say, either she was scared, she nervous, or she in on it. It's not a coincidence, okay? The child is the true sacrifice, and her presence symbolized the preservation of the system and definitely not true justice. So it's not a coincidence. Like I said, every detail is a ritualistic code in this case, in every case. If I had the time, I will break down every case of what, especially when it comes to these children. The same thing with the Kamani Luti case. It is a lot of cases are so similar to Naziyah's case. A lot. Very, very similar. Underground tunnels are a real thing. And they probably taking these kids underground, off the grid, island somewhere people would never go and look. Y'all worry about going pull up on Shannon and Marquita and them. Fuck all that. Where is Naziyah? And where is the other kids? So when you understand the codes, you stop watching the performance and you start seeing a ritual. Pay attention to the details. It's in the details. Can't trust nobody. Don't trust nobody with your kids either. They will be exposed. I believe so. Okay. It was something else I said that I was going to play. Don't trust nobody. And you know what's crazy today? Is a lady woke up to my house taking pictures of my front porch. I'm like, I went outside because I could see her on our cameras. I'm like, what are you doing? How are you taking pictures of my house? You crazy or something? Oh, and she don't even speak English. This is the type of shit that the Matrix do, though. They agents coming to disturb shit. Oh, the house was listed as unoccupied. On whose platform? I mean, on whose internet? Where? What are you talking about? And then you don't even speak English. And you taking pictures of me. I had to have this lady. I told her, look, can I see your phone? Because she was kind of standing next to me at one point when she came up on the porch. I'm like, can I see your phone? And I'm like, delete that picture of me. Delete that. And then she tried to keep a few other pictures. I said, no, I still see me in your phone. You need to delete that. I don't want you posting me nowhere. I don't know what you doing. You know, I was trying to be nice about it, but it's like, you don't just take pictures of people. You crazy? But again, it's the Matrix and they do shit like that. It's the Matrix. But the decoding of this case, the decoding of all of these cases, the symbols are there. I promise you, the numbers are there. The symbols are there. The astrological alignments are there. We just got to see them. We just got to see it. We got to choose to see it. You say it's definitely giving Bigo friend vibes. You talking about this old lady, Valerie. What else? What else I was going to share with y'all? Okay. I have wrote down some stuff too. So my question is, did Valerie really find it? Or was she given a script and the ID? A school ID? Was it given to her? And who is this lady? Mary. Hey, Mary. This live. I can't sleep. I just can't. I'm live right now, Mary. If that's what you're asking, I am live right now. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about this dark occult symbolism and organized crimes. Oh, I know what I was gonna go to y'all. Go show y'all really quick too. Let me go to it. I love talking about this. And just so y'all know, I'm healthy and I'm not suicidal. Just so you know. And I love my kids. Yeah, I can't wait till the trial start either. Oh, I can't wait. So I can't wait to the trial. And Jessica, you said, I don't understand how people let little girls walk around like it's nothing all the time. The only one up. You the only one up. So this live for all the conspiracy detectives, the ones that's into occultism and shit like that. That's what this is live for. Okay, so let me go to this YouTube video that I was telling you about the girl who was in the sorority and she's now denounced and she's telling her story. And we're just going to get an idea of the different type of things that they will do in these sororities. I remember one time when I was younger, I had an aunt who was an AKA, and I was asking her, like, because she made it seem like it was such a beautiful thing to be a part of, you know, the colors, the occult symbols that they hold up with their hands, the little dances that they do and pledge and all of that. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I want to do that when I go to college and blah, blah, blah. And I was asking her, I'm like, well, what did you do to get in it? Like, what did you have to do? And she told me, if I tell you, I had to kill you. And I'm like, why? What did you do? Like, that didn't make me interested no more. I'm like, oh, they must have did some foul shit. They must have had to go through some horrendous things. And I was young. I had to been like under the age of 10. But in that moment, I was just like, me and my inquisitive mind wanted to know. But when she said that, I'm like, nah, I'm good. And I never pledged to nothing but divinity. That's it. Not a part of no organization. The only thing I say, and I say it being funny, and I use it very loosely, is I'm the mother of the conscious cult because they coined me that name on YouTube. They think I'm running a cult over here when they probably into dark occultism themselves. Okay. If anything, if it's a cult, it's a cult where you can ask questions and you can question the leader. And I won't even say the leader. We question each other. I encourage everybody to be their own God, your own leader, your own creator of your reality. I'm not the God of you, and you ain't the God of me. I don't worship you, and I beg you don't not to worship me. So this a cult, this a free cult. We free. I guess you can call me an occultist into the abolishment of all forms of slavery. I do not believe in anything other than spiritual freedom, psychological freedom, sovereignty. It's your birthright to be free and sovereign. Anything that is trying to take that away from you is exploitation, and that's a spiritual crime, and that's against cosmic law. That's why this system, when it's going to go down, it's going down now as we speak. Their time is up now. That's why that's why all of this shit being exposed. A lot of things are being exposed in this time because it's time now. The clock has ticked out for their ass. It's over. So at this point, if you choosing not to know this knowledge and you're scared of questioning these things, then you're choosing to stay a slave at this point. At this point. Because the information is out there. You say, why they finding all her stuff in different language? Different locations, you think? I think you mean. You said, I was looking at the young girl video just a minute ago. She could move very swiftly. I'm so tired. I'm up, so I tried the move she was doing, and I was not even a man. That's why I say, Mary, I said Naziyah got the sauce. She had the sauce. Baby girl can dance. If she couldn't do nothing else, she could dance, honey. And them dances are not easy. I got a little cousin that dancing moves like Naziyah, all quick and fast in the hips. I like, girl, how you doing that? She like, I just follow the beat. That's an art. What they do, that's art. See, I was reading where he has any charges. And yes, he does has more charges. I posted that to the community board there as well. He definitely do. He is a serial child R word. Okay, so this is from a lady's YouTube by the name of Lala. I don't want to play the whole thing, because I don't want to sit here for the whole time. But let's see. Just want to play some parts, and I have wrote down some timestamps, I think. Maybe not. Other notebook. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Good. Okay. All right. $57.37 timestamp. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Bear with me. It's late and I'm getting sleepy now. All right. Now, keep in mind, they went from one indoctrination to another because they speak a lot about Jesus and being followers of Jesus Christ, and they are diehard Christians. Okay, but she still had an experience denouncing Delta Sigma Theta. Okay, but they went from one indoctrination to another. I think that we need to learn to like question everything and realize that religion was created by our opposition, okay, with the same mentality of slavery, okay, in layman's terms. But that's not the point, and that's a whole another video for another day. But they do reference that a lot because they feel like they left a cult and finally reached freedom, okay.
And I was now.
So let me go back just a little and we're going to play it from there.
For which you stood. I'm tired.
There are so many women that are blindly following the enemy, and he's making it so plain in the ritual. And how are people not discerning this?
Because it's like the moment we made that decision,
It's like a veil goes over our eyes.
Yeah.
And the things that we are saying, we really at that moment are believing those things. Like that's why when you said it was an emotional for all my love, my peace and happiness, really
we would cry. We
Yeah.
would literally cry. When we sung that song, we would cry.
Because y'all, we meant it. Our heart really was in Delta.
Yes, catch this one. We had one that said, in the beginning there were only two. Eve was a Delta and Adam was a Q. Moses led the people to the promised land. And that man, Moses, was an Omega man.
Jessica, you asking, has the girl Cash been debunked yet? Yeah, she has.
Where's the fear of
Oh,
I was saying
Shayla.
earlier that she created a YouTube.
As a born again Christian, when you hear this stuff, if you are not grieved, there's a problem in your relationship between you and Jesus.
Yeah.
So because at this point I'm born again, I am in a space to where I have ears to hear because scales have removed off of me and I was now able to receive this information.
Yeah.
And this is very scary that so many, I think Delta has about 350,000 members. This is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
This is terrifying. Because this is why people keep saying and are trying to tell you that this is a salvation issue.
100%.
This is not light. Like, this is not the stuff that we sat there and we said was not light.
Came into agreement with. Yeah. And what was the revelations regarding Freemasonry that the Lord kind of took you back to that connected? Did he give you some connections with Delta and Freemasonry or just with Freemasonry D9?
I mean, for sure. I mean, a lot of it had to do, there's a page on the Delta candidate syllabus, okay? When you open up the ritual that states that the founders were indeed inspired by Freemasons.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's there. Now, are you looking at that or paying attention to that when you pledge it? No. Like, do you care? Not really.
No.
You know what I mean? But they tell you very clearly, like, majority of these things that we adopted and these rituals that we would have to participate in, these things were, attached to.
So religion operates the same way as Freemasonry. It's all psychological control. So even though you leave one sorority and you go into Christianity or religion, it's still the same concept or it's still the same lie, just dressed up in another way. So you went from one belief system to another belief system. The objective is to escape from any form of control.
To Freemasonry, a lot, especially a lot of the above ground process with
and spiritual manipulation, because that's what it is.
Delta, particularly in the above ground process, we would have different ritual nights, but we will also have these things called jewel nights. And I think we've expressed it before, where the jewels were the 9. So if you see in the Delta Sigma Theta sign, in the Sigma portion, they have these little dots, which are called pearls, and they represent the 9 jewels of the sorority. And these 9 words are basically.
So here's the 9 jewels of the sorority, right? Because remember, I was saying that these dark occult or dark occults, they exploit cosmic laws, right? You got honesty, you got purity, you got fidelity, you got justice, compassion, dedication, fellowship, temperance, and courtesy. That's everything that they exploit.
Basically a play, you know, off of
the fruits of the
spirit,
yes.
The non-fruits of the spirit. And so, you know, Delta's like temperance, all these different fidelity, whatever. And so you would have to have a ritual night each night on one of the words.
Yeah.
And so you would have to participate in this jewel ceremony. And in the midst of those jewel ceremonies and the things we participated in, there would be a lot of New Age African ancestry witchcraft. Where we would have to do things like, there's a basin and a bowl of water, wash your hands and cleanse yourself from all wicked energy. Like, we would be doing that, stand on this mat that's Mother Earth.
Now, African ancestry witchcraft, she's saying it in the sense of it's evil, it's wicked, but we are our ancestors. Our ancestors, especially if you're a 9 ether copper color being like myself and darker, okay, that was our heritage. That was what we do. That's how we connect to. We use the elements, okay, and we honor our ancient ancestors or our ancestors, right? But it's not demonic.
Earth,
yes, with sand,
sand on it, like, and so there was just so many things that we were doing that we unknowingly, and the thing is, my people perish due to lack of knowledge. The devil does not care about your ignorance. He never has. He does not care about what you don't know, or what you. God's grace is that he doesn't let us die in our ignorance.
That's right.
But if you choose to remain ignorant, that is your problem. But the Lord is revealing to you that this stuff that we did was not okay. I was going into that because a lot of those things were also, you know, Eastern Star Freemason practices, you know?
Yes.
And so a lot of the Freemasonry stuff in my bloodline, I mean, I think that the Lord necessarily showed me the importance of breaking this, because what people don't understand about when you have a family member that joins into Freemasonry, they have to offer up their bloodline to the 3rd generation.
You hear that?
So that means that if at the 3rd,
she's saying her grandfather was the one that was initiated first into Freemasonry, really Prince Hall. Okay, but a white man introduced him to Prince Hall. He couldn't be a part of Freemasonry because he's black. But she's saying you got to offer up at that 3rd generation mark. I knew this before I even knew that this was a part of their process, because it wasn't a coincidence that Naziyah was sacrificed, and she would be the 3rd generation down from Annette kids, and then her grandkids. That's the 3rd generation.
Third generation, that if nobody joins it, they proclaim a curse on the bloodline. You know, so a lot of things that me and my brother were going through had a lot to do with that curse that came out of that. And they also hold up a sharp object to your chest, and they do these different types of things. What y'all don't know is a lot of people who die from Freemasonry, they normally lose their lives, according to wherever they held that sharp object. So my grandfather died when I was in elementary school. He was only in his late 50s. He wasn't even that old, and he died from a heart attack. And that is where they held that sharp object up against him. And what y'all also don't know, how blasphemous and demonic Shriners are. See, Shriners, and you guys are very familiar because they have Shriner hospitals, and I want y'all to look it up, because these hospitals deal very heavily in pedophilia, and because a lot of them are children's hospitals, and they violate a lot of children that come up to those hospitals. That as well. And because Shriners are known to have rituals to where they had to violate a child.
Wow.
It's very true. It's very true. And they're out of them, they call them like wicked, like very, very wicked, because even that fez that they have on their head, that thing, that red thing, the reason that is that deep red color, watch this, that deep red fez, that cylinder hat that they wear, it represents a battle that happened in a Middle Eastern Muslim nation where they slaughtered Christians. And the Muslim people took that hat off and they dipped it in the blood of Christians. That is
so that black fez hat with the black tassel that guy had on, to me, I'm feeling like that could represent a hidden war, or they're hiding something in plain sight, or they're in cahoots with something. It was a reason that he appeared on TV at that specific moment with that fez and that tassel that I showed y'all a picture of.
That is where that hat comes from. You can look it up. And so that in itself is even demonic and blasphemous to Christians. And I looked it up because my grandfather was a Shriner. And I'm fully aware that sometimes Prince Hall Freemasonry, they do a little different stuff than regular Freemasons. But I know, like, the white version of Freemasonry, they definitely be like messing with children, and they be violating children. That's why they have children's hospitals. And a lot of children go missing out of them hospitals.
Wow.
And it's important that if you have a family member that dealt with Freemasonry, that you know the degree, like where they broke it, because they have different, depending on the degrees, they have different gods that they pledge to. And so the one specifically that I had to break, that's why a lot of people say, oh, I just break Freemasonry, but they're still dealing with like dreams of like certain things, like in regards to fraternity, sororities are big things. But the god attached to the one, the level that my grandfather got to was Jabulon, or some demonic deity like that. But there are different ones. So sometimes if you just say in general, you can still feel that attachment. I hope this set somebody free.
No, for real, in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. That's so good. Wow.
Okay, so she said Jabulon. I did have it pulled up, but that's basically a deity that they worship. Like she just said, I was gonna pull up the actual meaning of this deity. It says in ceremonial rituals, Masons worship a deity called Jabulon. It's a composite. It's a composite of a deity, Jehovah, Baal, and An. Baal was the ancient Canaanite god of human sacrifice, and An another name for Osiris, the Egyptian god of life, death, and resurrection. Hence, Freemasons and Christians worship a different god.
Sister, thank you so much. Do you feel led to share anything else?
Get out of there. That's all I can say is please get out of these organizations. People are losing their life. People are dying. It's not a joke. The Lord's character would never tell you to go through any of the things that I went through in order to be a part of any brotherhood or sisterhood. You have the best brotherhood and sisterhood when you come into the family of Christ. You don't have to earn or work for these relationships. You were adopted at a high price immediately when you turned and gave your life to Jesus. allow fear to grip you. You know, whatever you fear more than God is an idol, but also whatever you love in my family, because he struggled with alcoholism and anger.
So you grew up in this. So how did this affect your family? So did the Lord reveal that was the open door because your mom was Greek, right? Was your dad Greek as well? Just your mom,
Yeah.
your brother, you became Greek. So how did that trickle? Like,
yeah. So because of the history of college, like my grandmother going to college, my mom and my aunt, it was well known that they were going to have the best education. So they ended up giving my mom, or helping my mom get an education at Spelman. My aunt got an education at Spelman. My brother ended up going to Morehouse. I chose to go to Savannah State, and my dad went to Alabama State.
oh, okay.
And so my dad never joined a fraternity because he was a part of what they would call, which I still think is somewhat of a fraternity, but it was like a football fraternity. My dad played football.
Okay.
And so he was kind of a part of that kind of thing. And I don't know if you go to HBCUs, like some of the football teams have like their own little thing, like we did at Savannah State too. And so my mom ends up becoming a Delta. You know, my aunt becomes a Delta. My brother becomes an Omega. I become a Delta as well. And it's really interesting because, like you said, that first introduction of Freemasonry into our bloodline is what piqued that understanding for secret society. So it was very normal. We would see his Freemasonry stuff. We would see the tags on the car. Like we would see the way that he would be treated around town with the police officers. We would see
he was getting a favorite, like the favoritism with the police officers.
Yep, we would see where he would have meetings and stuff like that. Just, I mean, it was just a very secretive life. But yeah, that started that trickling down into our bloodline. And so I grew up being in all the little organizations, Jabberwock and you know, Delta Gyms and all these different little things I grew up being a part of because I was always around my mom, who was very, you know, heavily connected in Atlanta with the East Point College Park chapter here. And as the Lord, I didn't get this information though. I didn't really look into a lot of this information until after I denounced. That's why it's really important to be obedient when the Lord tells you, because I denounced on limited understanding of what the Holy Spirit revealed to me.
That's so good. So let's backtrack. So you crossed into the organization, you this just gung-ho for Delta, everything, Delta, DST, you know what I'm saying? Then you get born again radically. And so you got born again in 2018, right?
Yes.
And you came out when?
I came out in 2020.
Okay, so that.
She tell her story of like the initiation, what she had to do, and it actually reminded me a lot of how Didi operate. Like they gotta break you down to build you up, like reprogram your mind in order for you to prove that you are worthy enough to be a part of this organization, this cult, by abusing you, basically.
Okay, so that was 2 years where you were still with Delta. And so did you, during that time period, was there any red flags or anything that the Lord was revealing before he said?
Absolutely. So this is a really key thing. I became born again in 2018. Like true, I was introduced to Christ in 2016. Radical way, radical testimony. If you haven't heard it, go watch my testimony. It's on Del Ife. But I met Jesus in a radical way. 2018 is when I officially say that I'm born again, because that is when I made the decision to really turn from everything. I got water baptized, filled with the infilling of the Holy Spirit and his power. And I mean, there was a massive change of heart. And so at that moment is when I started the process of distancing myself from the people who were my former line sisters. I had this deep groaning desire to be at a school where they truly pledged. Okay. Now, I don't know where that desire came from. I didn't grow up in an abusive home. I didn't grow up in nothing crazy.
Just demonic.
Is what like
planted the seed.
Like just planted that seed. But I just wanted to pick a school where they were
trying to
My
fast
mom
forward.
was on an above ground, like a walking line. This
Yeah.
is before they went underground. And so was my auntie. And so I very well knew about pledging and about hazing because my mom would talk about some of the things that they made them do. And that was a semester long of just hazing, you know. And so I wanted to go to a school that they were made. And so when I get down there and I see, you know, the Deltas at Savannah State, I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know, great. You know, they were very popular on campus. And I had made it in my mind that even if they weren't, like, I would make it popular. You know how that kind of thing, because I was so gung-ho about doing it. And it's so wild. Me and Lala were talking about this, but we were just talking about, you know, covenants and how there is a time frame where they become active in your life.
Yeah.
You know, my mom pledged when she was a sophomore. I pledged when I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
You know, there's things that activate. Like, a lot of us went through high school being like, no, I don't want to give up my virginity. And one day pick you. You go into this meeting, and in this meeting is where you have to meet with the campus, like the people who are over like Greek life in the campus. You have to also meet with the advisors, and you meet with the current members in the chapter. And that's where they go over the non-hazing, like we're a non-hazing organization and all this, and they make you sit there and watch this thing and make you sign this document saying that they're non-hazing. But let me tell you the manipulation on it right then and there. In the meeting, they're hazing you. You got like some of the big sisters, they standing on the side like doing all the time. They childish. They standing on the side like doing all, making faces and, you know, saying like, we get y'all, like afterwards, like doing all that in the middle of the meeting. And the advisors know it. That's the worst part about it. These old women, they know it. And so they're doing that. And then on top of doing that, when the meeting was over, because we didn't know what was going on. There were 38 girls on our line, and this was a big deal because there was almost close to like 500 people that came to our brush. So it was a lot, right? And so there's 38 girls on our line, and so the ADP and the DP. So let me explain that real quick. So you have an assistant dean of pledges and you have a dean of pledges, okay? The assistant dean of pledges is normally the person that is the president of the chapter. This was for our school. And the dean of pledges, the DP, is somebody that's not in the Minerva circle, which is they're not a part of the above ground process, but they're just an older profile. Okay. And let me tell y'all something. That sin is organized, huh? That sin is organized, baby.
Yeah.
It's organized. And so the assistant dean of pledges, which is the president, has to know like what's going on. But the assistant dean of pledges is not allowed to be at the underground process. Because if something happens and something went down, okay, with some form of a hazing, they can't point it out to any of the Minerva circle and say, we saw any of them there. So if any of them wanted to come to our underground process, like the set, they would have to wear a mask. But we know that's you.
Right. So they're pretty much, if something were to happen, like somebody was to lose their life, because it's been said plenty of times that during hazing phases where they are pretty much being stripped down and initiated, that they have been beat to the point where they lost their lives and things like that. So again, organized crime. These fraternities, sororities, secret societies, and they say it's demonic. It is demonic.
We know it's you. And so the ADP and the DP, they pass around a note to us in this meeting, and each person has to read the note. And the note basically says, you have 10 minutes to get off campus immediately and to go find a location with your new striving. Striving sisters. Okay. Because at that time, you're not even pyramid.
Yeah.
So you're a striving sister. You know what I mean? And so that's what they would, you know, call us at the time. And so we're like, what? Because you don't even know half of the people in this room. We don't have each other's numbers. And so fear honestly just like grips you because you don't know, you don't know really what to expect, you know? Certain chapters are way more intense than other chapters. So you don't really know what you're about to get yourself into. So the moment we get out of that meeting, we run to our cars and we're just jumping in one another's cars or whatever. And the moment that happens, we take off in a high-speed chase.
Ooh.
The big sisters in the pro fights pop out and they start chasing us around the city. I kid you not. This stuff is so crazy. Like, we could have died.
No, for real.
And then on top of them, I'm back. And on the top of them chasing us, at the same time, our phones start ringing. And so our phones were dead silent throughout the meeting. Now, all of a sudden, our phones start ringing. What we don't know behind the scenes, every single pro fight, they sent around a list of the whole line and all of their phone numbers to all of the former pro fights.
Ooh.
And so everybody's calling you, and it's chaotic. Who are you with? What you doing? What's my name? Who am I? What you doing? I'm not. And so that's at the same time that we're driving, trying to figure out where we going, whose house we about to go to, like, what are we doing? Like, and so it's total harassment. And it's like, that's what I'm telling y'all, it's organized sin.
Yeah.
It is, this process was insane. I ain't even
Organized abuse.
Organized crime, organized sin.
Wow.
It's both. So we're on a high-speed chase trying to figure out what location that we're going to stay at. You know what I mean? And then on top of what location we're going to stay at, we don't even have each other's numbers. We don't even know who's calling us. And then we about to get in trouble because how you don't know my voice? You trying to be a part of my chapter. You trying to do all this. It's chaos. And this is important to understand because that is the way that witchcraft operates. So the reason that I'm expressing this is because witchcraft operates high levelly like you can't think. There became a point they end up like backing off chasing us and the calls kind of stop. That's the first moment where we have a breath to try to figure out where are the people that we on the line with and where are they at.
Yeah.
And so we end up going to a secret location, which was a line sister, a former line sister's house. At the time when we get to that house, we're all sitting in there and they are also teaching us to, like, in a sense, like, pick people apart because we need to see who's going to pledge and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's nothing sisterly about it. Like, we're in the room and we're like, who's scared? Who don't want to do it? And one of the big sisters is like, yeah, ask them these questions, ask them that questions, and so everybody on my line wanted to pledge, but there was a rumor going around about one girl that was on the line. And they was like, yeah, we think she said she's scared or whatever. And they was like, put her out on the side of the road. Like,
Let me fast forward a little bit.
so the woman who was the DP, she was on a line. We're pledging in 2007. This woman was on a line from like 2000, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, girl, married with kids. In that meeting, they sit down with us and they start to tell us about all the stuff we're going to need for set.
Mm-hmm.
They start to talk about, and set is basically the underground process where you meet up late at night to try to rehearse and go over information that you need to learn in order to be, to cross over to be a Delta, as well as they claim that it's information that you need to learn for the DAT, which is the Delta test that you have to take in order to pass into the organization. But a lot of the stuff that you're learning is just a bunch of underground facts about stupid stuff. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And majority of what you're learning is the lines and the lines before you and those types of things, and more so chapter history versus the above ground process is a lot of national history. Okay. So we can understand that. They're trying to tell us about all the stuff that we need. We're going to need gray sweatpants. We're going to need all white shirts, white bras, white panties, white tennis shoes. Okay. That's what that sound like to you? Witchcraft. Okay. And we all have to be matching. And then the thing with my chapter specifically is that they did this thing called a natural process. A natural process means that we are not allowed to wear any makeup. We're not allowed to have any weave in our hair. We're not allowed to have any braids. So even if there's somebody on your line that's struggling with alopecia or looking crazy, like, it doesn't matter. And then on top of that, we have to wear suits every day. We had to look like Jehovah's Witnesses on campus every day, huh? So, and the colors of the suits can't be no colors from any organizations, or brown, tan, and if it's too brown, they're gonna say you look like an iota.
Because y'all wear gray suits.
We could wear gray, we could wear black.
New York and Company was gonna see y'all.
If you had New York and Company money, if you ain't had that, you was hitting a Walmart. Well, like, and some of the girls got in trouble to line after us because they were stealing that stuff from Walmart.
Oh no!
And so our chapter got into an investigation. It was 2 girls. They were stealing gray sweatpants. No, in the white. That's the Walmart.
But y'all was like, by any means necessary, get it.
After that night, it was our first time where we were going to be meeting the other big sisters.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And these are the lines that have crossed before y'all.
Mhm.
Okay.
That night was a night that they actually are lining you up by.
So when I was listening to her tell her story as to how she was born into the secret society, she come from Delta Sigma, I think it's what, Delta Sigma Pi or whatever, Delta Sigmas, okay, and her family as well. Her grandfather is a Prince Hall Freemason. I was listening to this because I wanted to see or correlate that with any other organizations or organized crimes and the extent that they will go. Why do they have secret societies and organized crimes? What are other people willing to do to stay a part of these organized crimes? So I just was listening to what she was saying, but obviously other thoughts. And I was thinking like, yeah, I really feel like Naziyah family is a part of a secret society. And just like she said, they was making it very chaotic for them. The same tactic is being used with Naziyah Harris' case. Her own family is making things chaotic in this case. Her own family is going around causing chaos and distractions and things like that to keep us distracted from the actual truth in this case. But it's all mind tactics and, spiritual warfare. And what was the word that she used? She said she used witchcraft, but I think it's more so, if you like that term, but to me, I'd rather say like psychological or spiritual warfare, because that's what it is. To keep us distracted from the truth, to keep you from seeing the truth, and to make you feel like you're worthy of being a part of the organization when they could tear you down, build you up. In Naziyah's family case, it's more so about creating chaos, abuse, trauma in order to sacrifice and gain from it. It'd be like the same umbrella though. It's the same umbrella, different organizations, different secret societies, but the same foundation.
Height order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we end up having to meet at a Kroger, an abandoned like a Kroger overnight behind the Kroger building. And we're lined up behind the Kroger.
Y'all outside?
Yes, in them suits. And we are lined up behind the Kroger. And that's where they're trying to decide like the height order. And let me tell y'all something about this height situation where they line you up from ace to tail. Ace is the shortest and the tail is I do want to pledge and not all that stuff like that. That's what the girl. They would know when you're out of class. In the moment that you're out of class, they will harass you. So you would either have to come and run an errand, or you would either have to sit on the phone with them for hours, or you would have to do certain things. And so you never had a moment to rest or break. And then they would, if they called you, you have to answer. So you could not answer the phone. And if you did that, they would like punish one of your line sisters for what you're doing. And so it was actually a really crazy thing through that, because you just never rested from the torment. So during the errand running and at night was the moments where they would physically do hazing. So with the errand running, you have to go and get them something to eat. So the thing about when you get on, you're a big sister and you want to bite, you want to bite. And so they wanted bites, okay? They wanted full Caribbean meals. They wanted oxtails, chicken and gravy, full of big backs in spirit. Because of that, it was big backs. Them folks could eat. You know that when you had to run errands. Them folks could eat. Did you have to run errands?
Yeah, we ran.
They were big back. They could eat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all were going through physical during the errands?
During the day.
Well?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
wow.
This was, she asked like a list of things that we had to do. So we had to do this thing called Delta chair, where you would sit on the wall and you would hold your hands out and you would sit in like a squatting position. And so you would have to do that during the day, and they would make you, recite founders, recite above ground, information, recite the chapter information. That's where they would be slapping your hands down. They would come and sit on you to like push you down. Like, with your legs out, they would come sit down. They would be pouring water on your face.
This is during the day.
This is during the day.
So you pledging by yourself?
You always had to be with somebody.
That's why it was pairs.
So, because they had your class schedule, and we were paired up by our numbers. So numbers 1 through 5 would be in one car together. And so you would have to be with somebody. But when we would go to set, each car had to be the numbers. So 1 through 5, and then 6 through, whatever.
Wow.
And so, you couldn't walk through the grass. You couldn't go and eat in the cafeteria. And this is ridiculous because, like, we paid for meal plans. So
you know what? I wonder. So yes, y'all, I don't want to play the whole thing because I don't want to sit here. I've already watched it. But if you're interested in going to see the different things that she had to experience and how she was exploited, even as an adult, to enter into that organization, go watch that. Okay. And listen to other people's stories too when it comes to these secret societies and the different tactics that they use and how they hide things in plain sight, how people get initiated, all of that stuff. And that will kind of open your mind up to the possibilities that as to what's going on with these children. Where are these children? What type of organized crimes is going on about these children? And why do the families sacrifice them? Because they have to. They have oaths that they have with forces that are unseen. But I'm gonna just leave this here, y'all. And I wish you guys a beautiful day, blissful day. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Grand Rising. Have a great grand day. What do we say? Big, beautiful day. And I will talk to you guys later. It's been about 2 hours, 2:45. Okay, yeah. So that's it, y'all. That's it. I'm gonna get up off here because I don't want to watch the whole thing. Thank you, Miss Sexy Ray, my mod. Thank you.